Okay, hi. So this is going to be a video on my birth story here in Tokyo. You don't know, but I am an American. I came here about almost 5 years ago, and I've been married to my husband, who is Japanese. And we just recently gave birth to a baby. So I wanted to share my experience as, I guess, a foreigner giving birth here in Tokyo. Okay, so first of all, when I, of course, got pregnant, you have to go through the whole routine of going to the hospital. Well, for me, I only went to the hospital. I didn't get a special clinic or anything. But I went to go every month, every 4 weeks, and then as you get like more pregnant, oh my gosh, where are my words? As you get more pregnant, then you go every 2 weeks, and then as you get down to 32 or 3 weeks, then you go every week. And so when I went, it seemed pretty normal to me. I mean, not normal because I've never done this before. This is my first pregnancy. And everything was normal, basically. Until it was leading up to I was about to give birth. And I remember talking to my mom, and she was asking me, I guess it's because I'm so naive or whatever, but she was asking me, did you tell them that you want to get an epidural? And I didn't think anything of it because I thought that it's automatic. Because also I have fibroids, and the fibroids that I have specifically to me, they were really in the way of the baby. So the doctors and stuff, they were wondering if I needed to have a C-section or if I could deliver normally, but it depended if she was able to move out of the way of the fibroids. I'm sorry if you can hear that, she's waking up. Leading up to when I got to 37 weeks or whatever, it seemed like everything was normal, and they was like, yeah, you're gonna have a natural vaginal birth. So when my mom told me to ask them about the epidural, it was literally that night that I went into labor, unfortunately. And when my husband called, because everything is in Japanese, of course, and when my husband called before that night, they said that the epidural, they would need to order it, and that it would take at least, I think, 2 days for them to get it. So earlier that day, on my 39th week, after I was moving a lot more than what I was leading up to that day, it was coming towards later in the night, and then I was just taking pictures of my belly. Here's a picture of my belly. And I was just like, oh dang, it's gonna be maybe a week and a half more or something until she comes. And so we were just chilling, whatever like that. But I was doing laundry around like 11 or something like that. And then I noticed around like 12:50-ish that it was becoming so hard to walk. I was like, what's going on? Like, I could already feel pain in my stomach leading up to this day anyway. Like, I could feel it for a few weeks before. And so I was used to this pain, or whatever you want to call it. And so I was just like, oh, I don't know, it's getting really hard to walk. So I'm trying to force myself, because I'm thinking, oh, maybe I'm just lazy or something. And I haven't moved in a while, so this little walking is taking a toll on my body. So I'm pushing myself to walk a little bit more, and then I realized, what? I can't really walk that much. It's becoming more and more uncomfortable. So I get back into bed, and then I'm still feeling these sensations. And at that time, I didn't know what a contraction technically felt like. Because I was just like, what does it feel like? Because sometimes I would feel like sharp pain in my stomach. And then other times, it would just feel like my period's coming on type of thing. So I looked it up, and it's like, oh yeah, your contractions, they feel like period cramps. So keep feeling this feeling, and it's not comfortable, so I can't go to sleep. You could tell that I'm in pain or just uncomfortable because my husband woke up. He's like, are you okay? And I'm just like, I don't know. I really don't know, because I didn't know at the time. I was like, I don't know. It feels like something, but I don't know what it is. So he calls them, and then they said, how many minutes apart? And he's like, it's 10 minutes. And then they told him to tell me to wait. If it keeps happening every 10 minutes for more than an hour, then maybe you should come in. And so we waited another hour. It's like 4 something, almost 5. So we just finally go to the hospital because I just can't bear it anymore. And I'm thinking, oh, it's probably nothing. And I'm thinking like, oh, I don't want to burden anyone, because we went to the hospital a couple of weeks earlier and it was nothing, and I don't want that to happen again. So they hooked me up to this, the machine where there's 2 belts, on one for the baby's movement and the other for your contractions. I'm looking at the machine and I'm just like, oh my gosh, this is another waste of time, because I'm not seeing any more contractions, no more movement, no more pain. So it's like looking like we just wasted our time again. So I'm sitting there for an hour, and then nothing's really happening on the machine or whatever. And then the doctor comes in. It's like, most women, whenever they come into the hospital after they're starting to have the contractions, once they get to the hospital, then it's like suddenly there's no more contraction. What does that mean? It's like, yeah, you may probably need to go home. Next hour comes and it's getting more intense, and they're just like, okay, now we're going to look at you. So they're going inside of me looking, and it's like, oh, you dilated so much. Then I had already gone up, I think it was like 4 centimeters. It was like, oh, you're going to give birth today, so now you're admitted into the hospital. I was like, huh? It was around 8 or 9 a.m. and they told me, because I inquired about the epidural, and they said, maybe we'll see around 10 a.m. to see if we can get it express ordered. I think it comes around 10 a.m. Then they're just like, oh, I'm sorry, we can't do that. So it's like this, and you're probably going to give birth this evening around like 9 or something p.m. I'm in the waiting birth room, and then they tell me, you need to change into this disposable panties, like it's basically a diaper. Yeah, so I need to change to that. But at that time, I'm just in so much pain or whatever like that. It's around 11 or 12-ish. I don't know, because I'm in pain, so I'm not really looking at the time. But it's around that time where the contractions are getting so bad that I'm getting so nauseous. And it was so annoying and horrible for me, because every time I had a contraction, which is every 5 or however many minutes, then I would throw up. And it was just so annoying, because I'm just like, I need to throw up all the time. So I need to keep calling the nurses, can you bring a new bucket every 5 minutes? And it's around 12 or something like that. So the doctors came in and they look at me again. It's like, yeah, you're almost there. And I'm just like, well, let's get started. And then it was like, no, now you need to move to this room, the actual birth room. And I'm thinking, oh, this is not the birth room. So they was like, yeah, you need to move or whatever like that. And at this point, I'm like, I don't know, I just have this really strong urge to start pushing. Like, I can't help it. Like, they're just saying, can you hold it? And I'm just like, I'm not even listening to them. I'm just pushing out of my mind. I'm pushing, and then like they're just like, come help, because I guess I started pushing in the middle of the hallway. So I finally make it to the birthing room or whatever, and I'm like, I can't lay down and push because it's so uncomfortable. I was on my hands and knees because I can't sit like anywhere else. So they're just like, yeah, just keep. And at that moment, that's when they broke my water. And yeah, at this point, everything is so painful. Oh my gosh, they don't tell you this, but like before you get pregnant, but the amount of pain in your back, in your lower back, is like beyond imaginable. Like, it seemed like that was worse than actual contraction. And then it was like, yeah, oh, it's almost here, whatever. And then, yeah, here you go. I give birth, or it's 2:56 that she comes, like, yeah, we can see the hair. Keep going. I'm just like, just hurry up or whatever. Just get it out. And, oh, yes, I already said there's no epidural. So I'm doing this all naturally with the fibroids. So there's more intense pain. And then it takes maybe an hour or so for them to finally finish sewing. So I was also in more pain with that too. And also I'm just hearing my child crying in the back and I can't see anything. After that, after they finally finished sewing up, they told me I needed to rest for another 2 hours. So I do that. And then finally around like 7 p.m. is when they allowed me to go back to my room. But they said I need to take the wheelchair because they said I lost so much blood, so I need to take the wheelchair, otherwise I'll faint. Basically, I'm still healing because I'm so swollen the entire time, so I can't sit down. And the first 2 days, I wasn't allowed to really have her because she's hooked up to the machines. The third day was the first day when I could actually have her, and I'm still a mess. And hello, new mom here's, and new mom and never held a baby in my life. Taking mine. So I don't know what I'm doing at all. And so, yeah, from that third day, they let me have her, and it was really overwhelming because she's a crier, and I just thought, oh yeah, babies cry so much. It was really a big experience for me during those first 3 days. And then I finally got to go home, and now she's here with me. My mom actually came as soon as I gave birth too. She came the day after I got discharged, so she was helping me a lot. But today, it's been 2 days since my husband's been back to work and my mom has left, so I've been on my own. So, and everything so far, so good. I'll show her in another video. But anyway, overall, my experience with the hospital in Japan was not really as I thought, because I don't think I really had any expectations because I never experienced birth before. But all I can say is just do your research, especially if you want pain medicine like an epidural or something. Do that, because the amount of pain that you get from natural birth is really unbelievable. And yeah, that's all I can say. But if you want to know more, I can say more in another video. And yeah, thanks for watching, and make sure you comment, like, and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll show my baby in the future video. because she's sleeping right now. But thanks for watching. Bye-bye.